We're the lead public body for Scotland's built heritage, and we are responsible for conserving and maintaining and promoting access to the historic environment in Scotland.
We do this in a range of ways in terms of enhancing public access to historic properties around the country, and also looking after and conserving those buildings and structures.
We have over 336 properties in care, and that ranges from some very busy, popular, iconic sites like Edinburgh Castle, down to some of our smaller sites in very rural areas. And around about 70 of those properties are staffed properties. For those staffed sites, we have really good information about the visitors that come to those sites. We know when they come, where they come from, and what time of year they visit those sites. But for our rural sites, we have very little information, and that leaves us at a loss in terms of knowing the impact from a conservation perspective, but also the opportunity from a visitor-facing perspective in developing that experience for visitors.
Our challenge is to find out about who the visitors are, and just generally the number of visitors that we actually get to our unstaffed sites. One big part of the challenge, as well as collecting the data, is how we are able to get that back to our headquarters into a database, which we can then carry out analysis.
The vision for this challenge is to have a much more holistic understanding about the visitor patterns across our whole estate, not just our staffed properties. At the moment, we have really good information about the visitor numbers at our staffed sites, but very little information at these unstaffed sites. By having this fuller picture of the visitor trends, we'll be able to help prioritise our investment, both in terms of visitor-facing investment to enhance the experience for visitors, but also in terms of the conservation requirements. For example, where we know there's a lot of footfall at sites, is this affecting the monuments there? And do we need to take remedial action to make sure that that's not damaging the properties for future generations?
We're looking for a solution that could potentially be rolled out to a number of our sites and make it both affordable and sustainable for us to be able to gather this data. We also think that there's other organisations out there involved in land management, particularly with remote sites, who may be interested in such a solution.
The main stakeholders in this challenge are the Conservation Directorate and alongside the Commercial and Tourism Directorate at Historic Environment Scotland. But that's also alongside the general public, both from the UK and abroad, who visit their sites.
The main metrics that we're looking at from the successful solution is primarily the number of visitors that we get to each one of these unstaffed sites, and also allowing us to be able to compare across year on year to see how they change.
We chose CivTech for this opportunity, really to give us the flexibility of the solutions available. Rather than going to one single provider or a number of small providers, we thought opening it up to a wide audience out there from different backgrounds would give us the most opportunities in terms of solutions for this fairly unique challenge.
We decided to work with CivTech on this challenge because we didn't want to leap to a solution. We know there's a number of ways out there for counting the number of visitors that we could get at our sites, but what we wanted to do was, rather than leap to those solutions, was set the challenge out there for some innovative companies to come up with ways that we could work out the number of visitors we get to those types of sites.